Welcome to the stream. This is Live Free or Die Bard, episode 20, Craft Punk. I am trying something new with my microphone. It's a little bit closer to my face, so if it's too loud or too soft, please let me know in the chat, and I will make adjustments on the gain. Welcome to those of you in chat. Welcome back. For those of you who are coming back. Live Free or Die Bard, we are making a homebrew 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game from scratch on Obsidian Portal. You can find the website at livefreeordieBard.obsidianportal.com. It should be right up there at the top of your screen. And basically the campaign is we're building the campaign so that you can run adventures off of it. It's a humor bard pun full Dungeons and Dragons game, and we're putting in as many funny elements as we can get in there, musical references, plays on words, such like that. If you have any suggestions at any point during the stream, please feel free to put them into chat, and I will try and add them into the game as we can. Obsidian Portal, for those of you who have not been here before, is a campaign management website. You can showcase your campaigns, you can put up your notes, run games from it, RPGs, play by post, all that kind of good stuff. So let's get started. News. What's been happening in RPG news lately? If you didn't see it already, Hero Forge did a Kickstarter recently. They completed it. They got like 2,000% of their goal, so I think they did it pretty well. That was for color prints, and you can go to the Kickstarter, or you can go to the Hero Forge webpage if you want to find that out, what all kinds of cool stuff they got for that one. But basically, instead of printing just straight up resin colored or metal colored or whatever it is that you were printing from, they're going to do colorful prints. I think you can get things like, they unlocked a bunch of extras too, like all kind of like earrings and makeup and all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty neat. But they should be getting started on that pretty soon. So that's awesome. The mystery D&D book that didn't get released last week did get leaked and eventually released. That is Matt Mercer's Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. I think that's how you say it. That's his world. He's been working on it for a little while. He's the Critical Role guy, if you don't watch Critical Role. And D&D released a book for him, so that's pretty cool. Looks pretty neat. What else in the news? Paizo, makers of Pathfinder and Starfinder, continue to crank out material on a very quick basis. If any of you are playing Pathfinder 2, their adventure path, you may not be able to keep up with their release schedule because it's crazy fast. They're cranking out material. Starfinder is also cranking out lots of material. You can check out their stuff. They've got new stuff all the time. I think they've moved on from their Age of Ashes Pathfinder 2 adventure path. They're on to the next one now, so that's coming out like, I don't know, like twice a month, it seems like. Monty Cook Games is revisiting their giant mega city mega dungeon Patolis. It was something like 670 some odd pages the first time it came out. They're going to do that one again. They're releasing it for their Cypher system and also for 5th D&D. So if you like big cities and big dungeons, Patolis, P-T-O-L-U-S is how you spell that one. That's coming out. What else do we have? If you were here last time, you heard me talk about Shadows of St. Fleur. It's a podcast. I'll show you real quick. Let me put it in the chat. What the link is. It's an Urban Shadows podcast. So if you're into lit games and lots of character building and interaction, investigation, etc., Shadows of St. Fleur is one you want to check out. It's still fairly new, so you can catch up pretty quickly. They crank out material every Wednesday on their Pinecast that I just put up there, or you can go to their Patreon page and get stuff early if you want to donate to the cause, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool podcast. What else have we got going on? I think that's pretty much it for news this week. There's lots of little Kickstarters and stuff like that I could talk about, but that's all the main stuff. Let's do some campaign spotlights. We did have an OP upgrade. So if you want to search for campaigns and inspiration on Obsidian Portal, go up here to this top bar, go to campaigns. This has a list of all the campaigns you're currently involved in, that you are a player or a GM or a co-GM of. And go down here to the bottom, it's all campaigns. This will take you to the all campaigns page for OP, and you can see all of our campaigns of the month to get inspiration about like the sort of exemplary, really cool stuff. We've got some new announcements coming out about that soon, pretty soon. There's a new feature that got put in, got upgraded. Now you can search by system. So here are your search things if you're looking for campaigns. Let's look for last updated. So this is the most recently updated campaigns. It'll give you all the campaigns, but let's say I just want, I don't know, Star Wars. So let's go Star Wars Saga Edition. So now you can search. That was just very recently updated by our excellent dev team. Good job. So last updated Star Wars Saga Edition games, and then everybody who's running a Star Wars Saga Edition game that has their game system selected, you get it in order of. Here's a big one. In order of when they updated, who updated most recently. That's cool. They got like Order of the Stick comic dudes. That's awesome. Just checking that one out. Oh, they got hit with the photo bucket thing. Photo bucket changed their stuff, their rules, and their how you navigate things. So like everybody who was using photo bucket images has to go back in and reset them. So that stinks. Let's do some spotlights. So yeah, I just went through today and searched for a couple of campaigns. And let's go through a couple of them right now. I'll show you what they're all about. This one's called Iron Fang Invasion. The GM is Craig Steinhoff. Looks pretty cool. They start with a big, beautiful map on their front page. See all the neat stuff on the cool map. This was just updated today. Cool font. You can do this with Google Fonts. And it pops in these awesome fonts. They've got a pretty big adventure log going with pictures for all those. That's pretty cool. I will put the link here in just a second so you guys can look at these in more detail since I'm just scrolling through. You got a table of contents over on the side. This is our page outlining thing that it's automatic if you want it to be. Just click a button. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Some images there for their links. Awesome. That's their main wiki. Very easy to find stuff. You can do a lot of this with CSS and just regular embedding images on your own OP pages. That's cool. Got the font. Makes everything look good. And then here's their awesome maps. Very cool. So let me put the link in the chat if you guys want to check it out. That was Iron Fang Invasion. And then I want to make sure that I favorite over here, become a fan. That gives them a little notification that somebody likes their campaign, and you can keep track of them. You can visit your favorites from your own profile. Alright, that was Iron Fang Invasion. Craig Steinhoff, good job. Another spotlight. This is one of our old campaigns of the month. They continue to update. Awesome. Yeah, this was ooh, that's cool. Yeah, this was September 2012 when this one was campaign of the month. They got lots of pictures and stuff. That's awesome. That's really cool. This is Leonidas 300 is the GM of this one for Manifestation of Chaos. We've still got people working on it. This is some fairly extensive remodeling in terms of what you can do with your CSS. But you need the Ascendant account to do that. I'll put this link in here. There's that one. Go back here. Manifestation of Chaos. Extinction Event. So that's pretty cool. I think I may already be a fan of this one. Let me look. No, not yet. Fan. It's huge. I'm not even going to go through the whole thing because I'm sure it's very cool on all the pages, but we'll just look at maybe just a little bit. Let's do magic items. See if they've got any. Yep, no magic items. Let's do main wiki. They got the little sword icon. I always thought that's cool. Oh yeah, here you go. That's cool. So a lot of people, what they do is they'll take code from previous winners, they'll borrow it, and they will update it to be what they want. So you can get ideas from other folks. So that's pretty neat. Okay, let's do another one. This is Battletech Farscape, the new breed. They may be using the, I think there's Farscape rules. I think that might be, I don't know if they're using that or if they've incorporated elements of Farscape, the show, into that, or I'm not sure. That's just a name. Let me put the link in here while I'm thinking about it. Boop. This is by Roebling, GM Roebling. I like mech games. I'm thinking about writing one myself, actually. Game system, that is. Because the ones I've seen are just a hair too complex for my particular likes. I think you can streamline them a little bit and not lose a ton of detail, but I got some cool ideas for that. I'm always working on about 2 or 3 at the same time. Bunches of characters. But their item page is huge. Oh yeah, it's taking some time to load. They've probably got a lot of images on here. Yeah, anytime you have a game about mechs, if you're going to use your item. Oh yeah, tons. There's all the pods. That's cool. Different ships. They've got the looks like the logos for their different factions. Cool. That's a good use of the items page if you wanted to do flags and factions. There's some mechs in there. They got a ton. I mean, I'm like not even a quarter of the way down here. I won't make you look at all of them. You can go look at it on your own, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's go back up to the top. Make sure we become a fan. There we go. You're a fan now. Got a bunch of players too. All right, that's our campaign spotlight. So let's get into Live for Your Die Bard. Let's see. Let's do a quick mini review of what we did last time. We were working on our Adventure 2 in our adventure log, is where we're storing that stuff. We got through We cleaned up some things in terms of our outline. We added a special optional random encounter because we were talking about how do you control the pace of things in your game if you need to go slower or faster. So one of the options was to add, extra wandering monsters essentially. So we created the yard birds. We made our little stat block and gave them a special attack based on one of the band's songs. And I think we also did we talked about some side quests, which I think I put in the wiki. Yes, side quest modules. So you can do your low-level side quests. And we came up with surprise Woodstock was one way to, if you want to throw in something you need to fill some time. Random rumor leads thousands of travelers to a field, but no one knows the plan or what will happen if these strangers don't get the concert they were promised. And then if your group is all bards, or entertainers of some kind, then maybe they can come up with their own mini concert, or they can harass the people and make them go away. Whatever they want to do. So that's what's going on there. So let's get back to what we're up to. So the story thus far, let's go to our region of Andante, where we are traveling. This is a map that I made a couple episodes ago, a little hex map. So this is where we started, Paradise City. It's our little map marker with details on it and links to the different things. We have them going outside of town in Adventure 2. The party is leaving town. They are venturing up northward to our marker number 1, site of a strange device fallen from the sky. Some machine scraps were sent to Paradise City for examination. So, what are the machine scraps? Rusty pistons and a wheel from a complex machine. This is the leftover bits from a mechanized soldier that was intended to be dropped from a floating fortress to wage war on enemies. The floating fortress is essentially abandoned at this point, but it's still flying around, and occasionally it drops off one of these soldiers sort of automatically, which wreaks havoc. This particular one, the parachute system did not deploy correctly, and it smashed into an unfortunate traveler, and that's who we're going to be talking about today. It's the unfortunate traveler and their wagon. So before we get into the crafting portion of the episode, where we talk about how to fix the wagon, what you can do with bits and pieces of things, downtime crafting, stuff like that, we're going to get into how you manage travel a little bit, which we got into last time in terms of timing. But this time we want to talk about, this is a big open world. They can come up with many ways to get from A to B. So what do we need to worry about while they're traveling? Okay, so the possible paths they could take, they know they need to come up somewhere in the vicinity of this bridge and then find the person they're looking for, because the mayor has told them where to go. So they could just take the main road, follow it straight up. They do some random encounters on the way up, perhaps. Takes them, I think we said, a couple days to travel this many hexes, so not too long of a trip. If they wanted to, they could hire a ship from the dockyard and take it up somewhere around here, have it drop them off, get there a little bit faster if they wanted to. So you could do some water type encounters. There's rules for that in your DMG. What happens if they decide to just go south? Every so often the group was just like, we're just going south. We don't care about your plot, or we misheard you, or something like that. And they're like, we're going to explore. And you don't want them to. Sometimes you want them to explore, like a West Marches style campaign where they can just go any direction and you've got stuff planned for all of it. Well, we don't have that plan yet. So let's say we want to gently corral them to the location we want them to go. So there's a couple ways you can do that. One is with weather conditions. If they go somewhere you don't want, you wash the road out with rain, or you put a blizzard in the path, and the only way they can go is the way you want them to. If they're running away from a particular kind of monster, you could have that monster show up and herd them in the direction you need them to go. South. We've had a few campaigns go that route. Another thing you can possibly do is put a friendly NPC out there to guide them in the proper direction. So let's say, for example, our group of bards goes up the road. They see this forest, and they are just like, we're just going to go explore that forest. And you don't want them to. I personally would just let them explore the forest and make some stuff up. But let's say you're on a time crunch. You've only got a certain number of hours to get this adventure cranked out. You don't want them to go there. You could have a ranger appear, perhaps. So let's make ourselves an NPC Ranger. And we'll go to our Characters tab. And this will just be a handy extra. So to make a new character, you hit the little plus up here. We could definitely make some different names with our random name generator if we wanted to. Let's try a couple elf names. Ooh, these are cool. Complicated. Glenalis. No, I'm not really liking any of those. Let's try something else. Let's do single name varying length. I like that better. Cutin the Ranger. To be honest, I've already picked out a name, and I think it should be Walker, because I was recently reminded about one of the greatest musical artists of our age, and I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. It's Chuck Norris, who sang and sang the theme song for Walker, Texas Ranger. So I think we should have a. I think that's an appropriate thing for a musical pun game, is to have Walker the. Should we make an Elven Ranger? Yeah, let's do Elven. Walker. Let's see, quick description. His beard carries a power all its own. We could give him a character sheet, but this is just sort of a side character that you're using for to herd people. So we're going to have Walker in there. So the description sections for his statistics, his crunch. So let's just say possibly the most powerful being in this and in many other realms. Challenging him is sure suicide. His back kick has been known to slay multiple generations. Of his enemies' kin. All right. So we need to, when we're doing NPCs, we need to do some notes on sort of the visual description, the voice, if you're going to use a particular voice, in this case Chuck Norris's voice, and any other introductory kind of thing, so that a quick glance when you're running your adventures can scan down and see that. So to make it bold, we're going to, in textile, we're going to surround it with asterisks. So we have voice, and we have mannerisms, and soft spoken Chuck Norris. Always family friendly until he starts kicking you to death. Mannerisms. Stands stoically. How do you spell stoically? Stoically. With his arms at his waist. He does not blink, flinch, or show any sign that he was ever mortal. And I think for Walker Elven Ranger, we should have sort of a special occurrence, and that's a theme song. If you're unaware of the glory that was Walker Texas Ranger, the television show, I think it was the 90s, maybe into the early 2000s, it was Chuck Norris as Walker Texas Ranger, who was an unbeatable, awesome dude. And somewhere around season 2, he started singing the theme song. And yeah, you should look that one up. For copyright reasons, I am not going to show it, but I will be singing a portion of it because we're going to do parody of that particular song. And parody is protected under copyright law. So, theme song. When Walker Elven Ranger appears, he has already been aware of your presence for some time. A magical theme song begins to play as he reveals his presence to you. The voice within the song is his, but his mouth does not move. Could be, because he could be a reoccurring ranger, which is something that I learned actually from a particular Pathfinder campaign. You have, I think it was Shalelu, was that her name? The ranger? I forget her name now. She shows up as you leave town in Sandpoint in one of the Pathfinder adventures, and guide you and stuff. So this is inspired by that. So you have this wilderness guide who can just show up out of the wilderness whenever you need that person to, and direct you on your way. I am going to put up here a brief note. wanders the wilderness and aids PCs when they stray from the path of the plot. So now we know what he's for. All right. Here are the lyrics to the Walker Elven Ranger song. You can sing along at home. I'm gonna get it up close to my face so I can read it. If I knew how to play guitar, I would, but I don't. The Bard and the Ranger, the old school battle rager, the Paladin two-handed with a smite. 'Cause the Bard and the Ranger both have sharpshoot. The Druid is an angry living tree. The sneak-attacking rogue just flanked behind you, and you're the Ranger's favored enemy. Thank you. I assure you that was as good as Chuck Norris sings it. You can look it up. You know you want it. Digital Prophet says he knows this is happening. Yeah. Okay, let's write that out. I'll need quotes. There's several iterations that I made for this song. This is the one we landed on. I could probably do multiple verses if you really wanted to, but I don't know that I have the time, so we may come back to it. Let's see. Two-handed. I should note first part is talk singing. Next one is full-throated singing. The Bard and the Ranger. Sharpshooter is a feat, by the way, if you're not familiar. Hey, you got some channel points. Good job. We currently have a logo emote that is in the approval process. So we get one emote that we have, and that I don't believe it's unlocked yet because it has to go for an approval. But it has been uploaded and it is being checked out by Twitch. So hopefully, either sometime during this chat that will unlock in your available emotes, or it will be by next week, hopefully. We're also working on, and you get badges for how long you've been subscribed. We're working on this. If anybody has any badge ideas they would like for to go next to their name while you're in the Obsidian portal chat, feel free to suggest in the chat. We'll see what we can do. You get one for like 3 months, 5 months, new subscriber. I forget what all the things are. Bard and the Ranger both have sharpshoot. The Druid is an angry living tree. Sneak attack. Talk song. Now, obviously, you, as the DM of this particular campaign, these people will start, your players will start to look for this ranger, so you have to use this sparingly. Hey, you highlighted your posts. You can see it, it's all purple for me. That's cool. Yeah, you can't really spend points on things until we are more popular, and then there'll be more stuff to spend stuff on. So try and recruit some people to watch us, and we'll have more emotes and things like that. And your Rangers favorite enemy. Okay. So that's our theme songed. Oh yes, GM only secret. I will put something like Walker, Elven Ranger, is secretly a god and is invincible. Oops, if I could spell invincible. Invincible. And let's see, and wins every combat, even those he does not participate in. Create. Let's see if I've formatted correctly. Nope, I did not. Okay. Slug must be, yeah, that's my slug. Okay, so we can't have the comma in there. That's what we need. Try again. There we go. This beard carries a power all its own. And I'll find a picture later on to put up for Walker Elven Ranger. I have a feeling that he introduces himself as Walker Elven Ranger at all times. And there you go. And technically, I guess, grammatically, you don't need the comma. I put it in whenever I want to pause something. So that's our characters. And then you can find him down here in the NPC section down at the bottom, or you can quick search for Ranger, some term from his title, and that'd be fine. Walker, if you need to find him. So there's that. Alright, so Walker will help keep the PCs on the path, on their way up north. Let's go back to our map and look once again. I do want to pull up Wanda, the world builder. We're still trying to make sure that she is happy with the game. And that's the next section that we're going to get into. So they're traveling. Let's say they meet Walker somewhere along the edge of this forest, and he dissuades them from going into this particular set of woods. Nomad, welcome. Hi chat, I'm DMing my first module next weekend. Curse of Strahd, awesome. Modified it for a Star Wars conversion. That's so cool. Yeah, ask away. Feel free. Yeah, we're sidetracked with some excellent Chuck Norris music, one of the greatest musicians of our age. How fortunate we were to have been born in the time where he was singing his theme song from Walker, Texas Ranger. Yeah, ask away. Feel free. We have lots of experienced game masters in the chat, and then I'm here too. But yeah, Curse of Strahd's pretty cool. Alright, so we're walking up the road. Walker dissuades them from going into the woods, and then they're coming up upon location number 1, the sight of the strange fallen device from the sky. And we need to describe that in our adventure log. Let's go to the adventure log. Normally we use the adventure log for recording adventures that have been played, but we're using it in this case to actually put the notes for our adventure. So we've got where the mayor gives them the mission. We've got the random encounters section. We're going to add the special optional random encounter for Walker Elven Ranger. And then we're going to move on down from there. Okay, here's our edit window. This is, we're using textile. And special optional random encounter 2. And then we want to do a character link and insert Walker. And that will give us a nice way to click on that person. And let's give a brief description so that you know what you're clicking on before you get there. So the yardbirds were a flock of fairly weak creatures with a surprising power. And then Walker is going to be a reappearing guide on the road of life. All right. So we want to copy our format from previously. We're going to be using our block quotes for our descriptions. Can you use your channel points to make Twitch quit buffering for 30 seconds? You can try. You can certainly try. You can also donate bits to the cause, and maybe I can get a better line to my internet provider, because that's probably me. I think they throttle me sometimes. I can't tell. It seems like they throttle me sometimes. But, you know. Nomad, are you writing your question? We'd love to hear it. Or questions, feel free. We'd be glad to talk about how to run first games. And I'm very curious about the Star Wars conversion. That sounds amazing. I love mashups. Alright, so I'm going to just copy paste this section. And we're going to put it down here for our part 2. For the rec site. My mouse is still acting up. It's gotten better. It's not great. Alright, now we're doing our block quote. The block quote we've set up with our CSS. That's our cascading style sheets. Our custom stuff, so it'll come out looking like sort of a box of parchment that you could do. There it is. Nomad says, for session, Death House, 11 by 17 maps printed up of each floor. Just planning on covering up each room with black construction paper. Good technique. As they explore, do you think I should just do everything in Theater of the Mind, or do you have better ideas for how to show the map to the players? I think a cool map is a good focal point, especially if this is the first game where you need to sort of help them and teach them about the movement and the tactics and the line of sight and all that kind of stuff that you need to know. A good map with cardboard with the cardboard stuff. I'm sorry, construction paper stuff would be pretty cool, and it sort of sets the tone too. Because if you have the black construction paper down there, and as they slowly reveal, they're pushing their way into the darkness. It's kind of symbolic. Make sure when you do your construction paper, you're cutting. You have a couple smaller pieces in case you need to do like little corners and things and cover up little bits that they haven't gotten to yet, or cut them to fit the actual room dimensions and stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be really cool. I would definitely go for that. You could definitely also do Theater of the Mind and just be very descriptive. Some people get into that much more. I love maps myself, so I would go map, but either one would work. But yeah, that's a really good one. Our weekly group often draws the maps on a kind of a whiteboard with dry erase markers. That's another way to do it. But if it's pre-drawn, that'll save you a bunch of work in the long run. And then however your setup is, if you're on a table or on the floor or whatever, just make sure that things are weighted down if people are going to be moving back and forth so that they don't accidentally, there's a breeze and it knocks some of your paper over. But yeah, that's a good one. That'll be really cool. Yeah, I'm really curious how you're doing the mashup part too. If you want to talk about that, feel free. But yeah, go ahead. Ask as many questions as you want. I'm just going to keep going. All right, the rec sites. If you will recall, they have the sky scraps already. The players do. These are rust-covered parts, still loosely connected by ancient bolts and remnants of wire. Impossibly lightweight but strong as steel. Flecks of red paint. So they already know what else they're looking for. So we need the rest of the machine that's going to be here. So the rec site. Let's see. A wooden wagon, or what's left of it, sits sadly along the bank of the small, we're going to call it a stream more than a river. Stream. It has been smashed by a great force. Wheels, axles, and some sort of fabric covering are strewn about the area. A halfling dressed in many layers of differently styled clothing is busily stacking up wares that once were inside the vehicle. The piles, stacks are very neat and organized, especially juxtaposed next to the wreck. All right. Death House is an abandoned star yacht. Like it. Strahd is a male version of... Oh, yeah. The Night Sisters. Very cool characters. I'm just worried because the party that is running it around dumb, ugly brutes. It isn't just a dungeon crawl, so it will be interesting. I can't wait for them to walk into the tavern in Barovia, or whatever what I'm calling it, in Cantina of Barovia 9. Nice. That's going to be great. I would love a campaign that started off that way. That sounds fantastic. Oh man, there's a lot you could do with that particular combination of stuff. Yeah. That's going to be pretty neat. I like it. Yeah, if you eventually make an Obsidian portal page or something like that, feel free to put a link in one of our chats. I'd like to look at that too. Digital Prophet says, after your barbarian party gets killed a few times from stupid traps and magic, you'll get a few people making other character types. Yep, that's sort of par for the course for us too. Good times. Good times. Yeah, that's actually, it's surprising. It mashes up surprisingly well now that I think about it. Star Wars and Ravenloft, that kind of fits. Alright, so we've got our wreck site description. We got the smashed wooden wagon. We have a halfling who's trying to gather up all of their stuff. So what are we going to give them? Alright, let's think about our players. One of our players, our player archetypes, is Wanda the World Builder. This particular player archetype is someone who wants to create stuff and fix stuff and make stuff their own. They want to put their own signature on your game and on their characters' actions in your game. So we want to make sure that they have lots to do here. So I want to make sure that they have tools to work with. So I think in this wagon we are going to put tools. So let's do that part first. We have the broken wagon with enough intact parts to build something new. So I'm combining, actually, we had an idea a while back. Let me find it here in our loose notes that I think we should co-opt for this because it fits really well. We had Rio in a Speedy wagon. That's REO Speed Wagon for those of you who are not old people. Like new music. Kids nowadays. So we're gonna do REO Speedwagon. We're gonna make Rio is gonna be our halfling, I think, and then the airship will be called the Jefferson. So it'll be the Jefferson airship. So also another old band. Oh, you got a lot of old band stuff here too. Tough love. That's how it goes. Do it early and often, I think. And then later on when they make the character that you wanted to make, then you can back off a little. 6 years after return. Same time phrase as the Mandalorian. Cool. Dark magic that the Night Sisters use fits perfectly for Ravenloft. Yeah, exactly. Perfect lineup. It's first time DMing since junior high. Oh, nice. It's like riding a bike. Does anybody ride bikes anymore? I don't know, but I feel like you're one of us. The players ruin the DM's plans. That's great. You should ask Digital Prophet about his Shadowrun game and how we did a whole bunch of work, and we decided not to do a thing, and then there was like a video that didn't get played. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Agreed. Mandalorian's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'm telling you, if you started the game up and I was one of your players and you had a map with paper over it ready to roll, and you're like, welcome to Ravenloft 9, whatever you want to call it, welcome to Ravenloft, and then start playing Cantina music, and then you're there, and it's like, yes, I would jump for joy. Okay. Yeah, I found when I'm DMing, even after many years of DMing, you get through the first like 10 minutes, and then the nervousness goes away, and you're good. Don't let your players sense your fear. Yeah, no problem. Anytime. We're all about chatting about games, because that's what we do constantly. When we become really old people and we're in the nursing home, that's what we'll talk about over and over and over again until we die. So, all right. So we need, our halfling is going to be named Rio. We can get rid of this stuff now. We don't need it anymore. That was our loose notes. So let's write down some of our stuff. So we need what the halfling is going to be talking about. I want to make the halfling character first, and then we'll come back and do the rest of it. So we save our update, and then when we come down here, here's our thing. Okay, in our adventures, anything in these text boxes is to be read aloud by the GM, and then anything that is in colored text is the read in the character of the moment, so NPCs and whatnot. All right, let's make Rio and the Speedy Wagon characters. Having everything ready to go ahead of time makes running the game a lot easier. Yep, he never improvs, it's true. No, little improv here and there, not much. Rio. Rio is going to be a halfling, a merchant, and I think that's good for now. Quick description. Let's do a tiny, quick person wears many layers of clothing. Again, if you want to give your characters a character sheet, if you've selected a game system, you can choose from any of our dynamic style sheets, or DSTs. They're basically character sheets where you can plug in the numbers. Some of them will do auto calculations for you, and there's different styles and different looks. You can even make your own if you want to. Cool. Yeah, I think the fun prepared adventure is the way to go for the first get together. A little bit of railroading right at the start is fine. That's what we did with this campaign too. Just sort of say, you show up here, this happens, you're going to do it. There's not another option. And then give them more freedom later on. Like in Adventure 2, where they get to walk outside a little bit. Don't be afraid to railroad your players. They're just characters in the story you're telling. They don't get to decide anything. except what you let them decide grudgingly. Let's say there's different play styles for different GMs. It's the illusion of control is the trick, I think. It's you can coax them into doing what you want them to do. Be like, oh, that's a brilliant idea that I thought of already. And you're good. All right, we're making Rio the halfling. I'm not going to give her too much in terms of crunch. I don't think we need it. I think we'll just skip that part and we'll do voice and mannerisms for now. Voice, mannerisms, and then a little bit of backstory. So for voice, I'm thinking when you're making up voices, always, of course, use references that make sense to you. So I'm going to use in this example a cartoon chipmunk mannerisms are going to be quick movements, no eye contact. So always darting around, that sort of thing. Always thinking about the next task. The Phantom Express. It's railroading, but they don't know it. Yeah, I would say. I mean, there's games that work for that, but if you've for letting them have like oodles and oodles of freedom, but you have to be real good at improv to pull those kind of games off, and they don't usually last quite as long unless you have some story that they can then follow, because your players will just wander around and wait for you to tell them what's up. We had one particular game where it was a Wild West setting, and the GM said, okay, it's 8 in the morning, you wake up, what do you do? And we came up with some stuff that we thought our characters would do in a Wild West town, and he just kept asking us, what do you do next? What do you do next? It's 8:30, what do you do next? And we kept going and making stuff up until we ran out of things to make up. And we're like, okay, we've established what our characters do in the morning. We're ready for the plot. And I don't think he had one, but I don't know. Never found out. I think we stopped playing. We were so excited when the stagecoach showed up to bring the mail. We're like, oh, finally the plot's here. We all ran towards it, and it was just the mail. That's all. So yeah, railroad a little at least. Right, Rio's backstory. Rio is a traveling. I always spell traveling wrong. Traveling merchant who made a name for, let's make her herself. Her name is Rio. See, another musical reference. Got them. Got tons of them. Yeah, Olympic gold for the squandered campaign opening on that one. It really was. It was a fantastic opening. Great descriptions. We were all super excited. System we hadn't played before. Couldn't find the plot. He would not give us a hook to jump on. I don't know. Traveling merchant who made a name for herself with her Speedy Wagon, which we will make an item later on, I think. Which is a modified airship balloon attached to a standard wagon. So in our in Live Free or Die Barred, in this world, we have airships as a technology. We're going to get into that in a second. So she has a speed wagon. She is obsessed with order, neatness, schedules, and punctuality, which makes her current dilemma of delay a huge source of stress. Cooperative storytelling type, right? I want my players to do all my work for me. I think guided storytelling, guided cooperative storytelling would be better. Because really, like, how do you even start? Although I will say a couple of things that particular DM that he's talking about was my first DM, actually, when I started playing. Ever so often he had something pretty cool. Like one time he built, when he was doing his world building, he mapped out continents and regions and things, and then he detailed the one that we were going to do all of our low-level adventures in. So he detailed the first area, kingdom, region, whatever it was, and then he said, by the way, you guys, if you want to do some world building, pick one of these other continents or whatever, and you can describe it, write as much as you want, and then for the later game, which he hadn't written yet, keep bumping the microphone, he was going to incorporate that. I thought it was a neat idea. It was one of those where, like, okay, in some games that wouldn't work. Now this was 2nd edition D&D, so getting from levels 1 to 7 was like 2 years, so he had plenty of time. So it wasn't a big deal. It doesn't work so much in like 5th ed, 3rd ed necessarily, but but yeah, cooperation is good, but you do have to set the tone and stuff. So yeah, I think Nomad's game sounds pretty cool, especially if you're following the basic adventure and just retooling it. I think that's the way to go. That is, like, you've already got it written. Even if they know the basics of Curse of Strahd, they won't know all the stuff you've changed. Great idea. All right. So, okay, that's Rio. I think we need an image for Rio. Let's look on about Pixabay. Let's try Pixabay. Let's do steampunk. Turn my script blocker off. Let's look for somebody who looks gnomish. Maybe this one. Yeah, we could zoom in on her face. That's not bad. I don't think we're using that yet. Alright, let's download. Download. I'm not a robot. Please believe me. No, they never believe me. I always have to play the picture game. Alright. It's a game within a game now. We're making games. And we're doing games. It's great. Love it. Download. Alright. Thank you. Alright, I need to do some quick image manipulation. So let me turn on. Let's go back to where we were. Paint.net. See if it will. Get this out of the way first. Come on. Are you going to show it for me? It's going to be cantankerous. OBS did an update a while back, and they made things not as easy. Oh, I know why. Need to get it up higher. There it is. Okay. Alright, here's our Paint.net. It's a free image manipulation program if you don't know. Of course. Of course he did. They don't have any idea what I'm running. I feel like they're expecting traditional Star Wars Western style game running around blasting stormtroopers. I hope the dark magic story isn't too outside of what they're expecting. I think that's cool to give them a little. I mean, you could throw in a little bit of stormtrooper blasting here and there to sort of sate their appetite for that, and then, but yeah, tell your story. All right, let's do. I'm using my rectangle select tool, and then you hold the shift key, and that will make it a perfect square. I want to try and get as much of her arm in, like she's looking at the horizon. Whoops. And my mouse is still desperately trying to double click everything. It's really obnoxious. All right. Image, crop to selection. And then we have a little something for our image. Let's save this. I'm going to save it as Rio. Yeah, we may end up using her again later on also if she has a vehicle and stuff like that. I know you guys can't see exactly what I'm doing because modal windows don't show up on OBS, but okay, save. Alright, good enough for now. I don't think we've used this picture before. Now let's oh yeah, let me turn off Paint.net. Paint.net's off, we're good. So we click change the image, click here to upload. And then we're going to go down and find Rio. And it uploads and gives you a check mark. And then create Rio. Alright, let's see here in the gallery. Oh, I already used this for Ezra, didn't I? We need another picture. I thought I had seen it before. I did this one about 2.5 months ago, so I've forgotten, but you get the basic idea of how to upload a picture. So I'll go back in and change that later on, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's Rio. Let's go in and do our... Let's edit our adventure. And then down here we'll have Rio the Merchant. Here she is. We'll fix the picture later. Oops, I double clicked again. Yeah, you don't need quite that much. So whenever you're doing character insertions and stuff like that, you're looking for the double square brackets around your link. You have a colon, and then the slug, a space, a vertical bar, a space, and then whatever text you want to appear, in this case Rio. So keep this part the same for the link, and then you change this to whatever you want on the right hand side. Okay, Rio the merchant. Let's put the traveling merchant. And then we will have what her opening text is when they approach. So we want to do colored text. We've already used green up here for the mare. Let me show you what that looks like. So you do percentile, curly brackets, color, colon, the name of the color you want to use, end your curly brackets, and then whatever is beyond that will be colored text until you finish it up with another percentile sign. So that's how you do colored text in textile. So we've copied that. Nope, I did not copy that. I'll just type it in. Forgot to actually hit copy. Percentile, curly brackets, color. Let's make her, let's try orange. I haven't done orange. I want to see what that looks like. Orange. If it's not the right color, you can come back and change it. I want to italicize it, so we're going to do an underscore around stuff. And then quote. And then what do we want her to say in her chipmunk, cartoon chipmunk-like voice? I'm astonishingly late. I mean, technically, I'm still early. The rendezvous. That's not how you spell rendezvous. Rendezvous. Rendezvous isn't for, let's give them a couple days. Let's say 4 days. In the city. But I always make it a point to be there significantly ahead of schedule. This delay is simply unacceptable. Acceptable. Don't worry if you can't spell. We've got you covered. How I was going to say how on Earth, but we're not on Earth. If anybody has a good musical pun name for the world that we're on, feel free to put it in chat. We can add that right in. Right now, the region we're in is Andante. The kingdom we're in within that region, the region is within the kingdom of Calliope, and then the world is something musical. I'm sure it doesn't have to sound like Earth. It could be whatever. How am I going to get all these items to the workshop? Made it. Welcome back, Niflheim. Okay, everything was said for the last 81 minutes. I think there's a button on here that I can press that just replays the whole thing for you. To the workshop. All right, what you missed so far? We talked about industry news. Hero Forge is going to have colored miniatures. Matt Mercer released a D&D book. Monty Cook is doing his Mega City game Part 2 for 5th Ed and Cypher System. Podcast Shadows of St. Fleur is really good. We spotlighted some cool campaigns. There's links up in the chat if you want to scroll up and take a look. We made Walker Elven Ranger and sang a song. You want to hear it again? I can sing it again if you want. Yeah, the Monty Cook City is pretty cool. His last one was like a 700-page book, and they're redoing it. They're updating it. Walker Elven Ranger has a theme song. Whenever you show up and find Walker Elven Ranger near the woods, his theme song plays while he stands there stoically staring at you, and his beard is magnificent. We're currently doing Rio's Speedy Wagon, and her description. We're creating the character. We've done that. We reused a picture that I had already used once because I've not been paying attention, and we'll have to redo that later. But we are writing what she's saying when you meet her. All right, so we've got. Oh yeah, we need to do the percentile sign. So when you're done with your color percentile sign. Okay. That's too far. I want to see what this looks like, so I'm going to preview. You hit the little preview button. And we'll go down and see what orange looks like. Okay, orange is the same color as my links for this particular one, so orange is not going to work. So it's good that we previewed. Let's pick a different color. So instead of orange, let's try, I think purple. I don't even know if it does purple. Let's find out. Purple. Purple looks all right on the white background. Okay, purple it is. The color purple. All right, let's save. And then we will think about what else we need when we do this section. Okay. So as the GM, what do you need? You need something to read out loud. That's what I like anyway. You need your access to your NPC. So you would, in this case, I'm going to center click to open a new tab to bring Rio up so that I can figure out what her voice is supposed to be, what her mannerisms are, any backstory information I need. If she has a stat block, I need the stat block is ready to go. Rio the Traveling Merchant. Oh, I forgot my other thing to make it italicized. Get distracted easily on Twitch. That's just how it goes. I'm astonishingly late. I mean, technically, I'm still early. The rendezvous is for 4 days in the city, but I always make it a point to be there significantly ahead of schedule. The delay is simply unacceptable. How am I going to get all these items to the workshop? So she's going to talk something like that. So now we can go in and, so what else we need is, at this point, we'll let the GM do the improv. So we'll just describe what Rio wants, what she needs, what she's willing to offer, and then we'll describe the wreck, what they find in it when they investigate it, and what they can do with it when they build. Maybe it's raining when she says this? What's the meta joke? I don't get it. I'm missing a reference. I don't have all my song libraries memorized. Maybe I'm missing something obvious. Purple rain, purple text. Got it. Got it. Purple rain. Oh, we should use that later on. Let me put that in the loose notes real quick. That could be something. We'll come up with something for what that is. Might be a spell. Stations people. This is my, I always keep something for loose notes. Uncategorized ideas. Purple rain. Spell. Natural weather event. And then save. Purple rain, purple rain. Okay, that's down there now too. Alright, let's fix our italicized. There we go. Now it should be italicized. Alright. I need to search for her name. I'm just going to type her name in. Rios. Speedy Wagon has been severely damaged by a falling object. She has rescued the goods that she was transporting to WikiLink, Paradise City. See how easy that is? Button, super easy. But does not know what to do about her vehicle or her timetable. Maybe she could have some sort of small pet or familiar or something. One of the REO song titles. Oh, Little Queenie, that could work. That's a good little extra detail. Let's throw that in right now while we're thinking about it. Let's do a chipmunk. She talks like a chipmunk. Let's give her a chipmunk. Next one. She's tired of getting nowhere. Yeah, we can add that into her text also. This is good. So when you theme your stuff around something, like Nomad did with his, you always have stuff to draw on. You don't have to make everything up from scratch. You just use what's already been created. Let's make a pet. Little Queenie the chipmunk. The tame chipmunk. Save. And there's the pet. Okay. Speedy Wagon severely damaged by a falling object. She has rescued the goods that she was transporting to Paradise City, but does not know what to do about her vehicle or her timetable. She is let's see. We need, if they question her about what she saw, what happened, we need the text for that. So, if they question her about the wreck, she has this to say. And then we're going to copy what we had before with our percentile sign, color purple. Let's copy that whole thing. And then at the end of the quotes, you will finish it off with the underscore for the italics and the percentile sign for the color. And whatever you put in here is the text that she says. Okay. All right. So remember, chipmunk voice. So keep it quick and lots of consonants if you can. The other day, I was making excellent time on my way from Smithy towards the city. When I was suddenly struck. Let's give a clue that this fell out of the sky. Let's do that after this. Suddenly struck by some kind of metallic object. My wagon was completely smashed, and I was thrown 20 paces away. When I looked up, I saw some red cloth and ropes falling slowly out of the sky. I wasn't too badly hurt, but this has caused this work stoppage, may cause maybe a terrible blow to my reputation for punctuality. Then we'll use the quote that Dan Plays VR looked up. Quite frankly, I am tired of getting nowhere. Cool. Okay, if they're questioning about the wreck, she has that to say. We've indicated something to say that this was a paratrooper whose parachute failed and smashed into her wagon. All right, now we need to have what they find if they investigate the wagon. So let's do a section on that. I want to make sure that I'm still doing the same. I'm gonna open up a new tab for this. The same format that I did from my previous adventure and my guide for adventures. I have one of these is the here's how to read these. The first one. So if you need any of this kind of stuff, I do need to bold the names, so I need to do that. And then any kind of directions need to be in there also. I think these are bold also, so I need to bold those. Bold instead of italicized. So we have our options, we have random tables. Yeah, so I want one of these guys. So whatever combat is. I think that might be an H2 or an H4. Let's find out. H3. That was close. Split the difference. Alright. So let's fix our formatting. So instead of italicized, we're doing bold. Let's change it. We're just taking out the underscores and putting in asterisks. And then I think you can do asterisks around these also. Let's leave that one. We'll preview it and find out. And that. And that. Yeah, so the goal is, like Digital Prophet was saying earlier, to do as much prep as you can before you actually run the thing. And then it'll basically be just you following along the notes on game night, because you will have plenty of other stuff to do when you are running the game. Like looking up rules and fixing problems, answering questions, etc., etc. Okay, let's preview, see where we got. Yeah, that's better. That's much easier to read. Need to capitalize the mayor there. I like that. That's a good look. All right. Let's go up and fix that one. The mayor. Yeah, so textile on its own gives you lots and lots of options for customizing the look of your written stuff. And you can put in images and stuff and make it look like you want. And the textile, that's just part of the regular, like if you got a free account, you can still use that. So you can do a lot with just a free. I've got all the upgrades, so I can make it look even cooler, but you still have a lot of options. All right, let's save. Okay. Now we need to work on some of the other stuff. We've got Rio, we've got our little chipmunk friend, we've got her basic text, we've got what she saw. We'll eventually come up with what she's willing to offer them for assistance, although the mayor's already offered them a reward. But we'll get to that in a second because I have some ideas. So let's talk about what the vehicle is, what they find when they look at the vehicle. So what I've envisioned for the Speedy Wagon, for Rio's Speedy Wagon, is it's a regular wagon, but she has attached to it a small airship balloon. So for airships, we have in our wiki, I'll go over the technology portion very quickly from our wiki, talking about airships. These are hot air balloons. It's a well-known advancement, have been combined with magic to increase their effectiveness. As such, airships of all shapes and sizes can be found in the skies across the civilized world. So we want to give the players a way to get up to our floating fortress. Later on, the wheel in the sky, which is what the whole adventure is about. So we need to give them an airship balloon. This is where they're going to get it. So she has an airship balloon attached to a wagon. She loads the wagon up with heavy supplies, and then she cranks up the power of the airship balloon thing. It very slightly levitates over the ground, and she can propel the wagon forward with literally a push if she wants to. And she's a halfling, so she doesn't even need horses or anything. So we're gonna have all that stuff in there. So basically, normal wagon, airship balloon, and then the thing that crashed into it. And we need to design all of those things. So let's talk about how you're gonna fix the wagon first. Let's do that part first. So let's do crafting rules. Crafting in 5th ed is pretty easy. Let me pull up the pages in the... This is your player's handbook for 5th ed. It's sort of essential for running a 5th ed game. You could go without other books, but probably not this one. Okay, so crafting rules are on page 187 of your 5th ed PHB. It's right before the combat section. Crafting is a downtime activity. We're going to use it as part of our game, so as part of our not downtime. So you can craft non-magical objects, including adventuring equipment and works of art. You must be proficient with tools related to the object you're trying to create, typically artisan's tools. So we're going to need to address that also, just in case your players have not become proficient with particular tools. We need to come up with a way for them to be proficient. You also need access to special materials or locations if necessary. Okay, so here's the actual rule for downtime crafting. For every day of downtime you spend crafting, which is 8 hours in their rules for downtime activity. So for every 8 hours you spend, you can craft 1 or more items with a total market value not exceeding 5 gold pieces. And you must expend raw materials worth half the total market value. Now that's if you're making it from scratch. So if you're fixing it, we're going to use these rules and just say that your costs are covered. All the stuff is there, you just have to put it back together. So if it has a market value greater than 5 gold pieces, which our wagon does, you make progress every day in 5 gold piece increments until you reach the market value of the item. So, also multiple characters can combine their efforts toward the crafting of a single item, provided they all have proficiency with the requisite tools and are working together in the same place. So, let's go look at wagon prices, which is the primary thing that needs to be fixed, which is on page 157 of the same book. The wagon is under tack, harness, and drawn vehicles, and it's 35 gold pieces. So your total price is 35 gold pieces. You work in 5 gold piece increments, so every 8 hours a person spends on it. They get 5 of those 35. So is it 7? So you need 7 increments of work, 7 8-hour chunks of work to make it happen. All right. So let's put in our adventure notes, how to fix the wagon. All right. So we've got, let's make it an H3. Make sure I've got this correct. Plus fixing the Speedy wagon. I think I want this to be bold also. No, maybe not. Let's just go with H3. Alright, fixing the Speedy wagon. A character. Actually, let's make the load that she was carrying tools. That way they have access to tools if they didn't bring any. That way they don't have to go all the way back to town and then come back if they don't happen to have tools. Okay. The wagon was hauling large supply of various tools. So there are plenty to work with. You can't fight it. I can't fight this feeling. Oh man, see, we need to play this game eventually, so we can just make constant music. We'll never get through it. We'll just make music puns all the time like that. Can't fight a feeling, not anymore. Plenty to work with. The wrecked pieces can be reassembled without any additional resources. Okay. The damage. Yeah, let's just write the rule for it. That way they don't even have to look up the rule in the thing. We'll just tell them how long it's going to take. Plenty to work with. The wrecked pieces can be reassembled without any additional resources. For every 8 hours of work. Let's just do it in we'll call it man hours. So what is that? 7 times 8, is that 56? Let me double check my math so I don't mess it up. Yeah, 56. The wagon requires 56 man hours of labor to repair, but these hours can be divided among the players and Rio as they see fit. Multiple laborers can work on the project at the same time. The damage is not extensive. Oh wait, no, let's do it another way. If a character is not proficient with a set of tools that would be appropriate for wagon repair, which if you want to look up your different tools, that's also near where the wagon was, 150 something. Let me find it. Okay, so you could do carpenter's tools, smith's tools, tinker's tools, woodcarver's tools, anything along those lines. Carpenter's tools, smith's tools, tinker's tools, etc. We'll just let the GM make the call. The character is not proficient with a set of tools that would be appropriate for wagon repair. Their 8 hours of labor per day max is only worth 4. That way we reward characters who happen to have the right kind of stuff. But if not, it's not the end of the world. They can still do it. Okay, so we need to make sure that Rio is not proficient, because we always want our players to be the star, not the NPCs. Rio is not proficient with any tools. Save. All right, and then back to here. Okay, so that's how to fix the Speedy wagon. So they can do up to 8 hours a day. Let's say that it's a full group of 6 plus Rio. So they can't get it done in one day. They're going to have to spend the night with a group of 6, even with her helping. It's just not quite enough, even if they're all proficient, which they probably won't all be. So it's going to take them multiple days, probably 2 days, maybe more, depending on what they decide to do, if they leave somebody on guard duty, whatever. So it's possible that they can get there. So she has like 4 days to work with before her appointment. She can get back in time, just barely. That's why I chose those numbers that I chose. And then as the GM, you can fudge things and adjust things if it's appropriate for the story to get her there faster, slower, whatever. Okay, now let's talk about what she finds, what they find when they explore the wreck. Let's put that beforehand. H3 plus, let's call it the fallen soldier. Oops, and I erased it because my mouse is dumb. I really need to get a new one. I think I just wore it out. Clicking on memes. Okay, the fallen soldier. Let's do another text box of what the wreck looks like. So this is a block quote. I have my CSS set up that you need this particular thing to make the little text box work, but you can set yours up however you desire. What if it's more than a feeling? More than a feeling. There's actually, I think there's a site where you can look up how many songs with these lyrics in it, and it'll just give you a big old list. It's a popular road trip game. Name all the songs with a word in it, and then somebody names a word, and then you go around the vehicle and do that. For those of you who love driving children around, so I'm sure you need it. Okay. So we need what they find. All right. So the soldier that we're talking about, we're gonna have to design it here in a minute, but I think that is going to be basically a big mechanical soldier. We already know what the scraps look like. We've got flecks of red paint and rust because we want to indicate that it's really old. And we want to say that it matches up with the sky scraps. All right. the steel, or perhaps not steel, contraption half buried into the ground at the center of the wrecked wagon is incredibly complex, armored, heavily armored, and was probably twice as tall as a full-sized human adult when it was intact. Now, however, it is a rust-covered mess of piston-driven appendages, cracked lenses, bent springs, and broken cogs. That match the scraps the mayor gave into your keeping. It should be placed into your keeping. Safekeeping. Alright. Flecks of old red paint seem to hint at old lettering and military style emblems, one of which, a rose, is still plain to see on what would have been the massive shoulder pleat. What else do we want? We got to do weapons and the parachute. Mangled pole arms. Are stuck firmly into the soil. But you can... Oh wait, no. Let's give him something else too. And you can see the pieces of what may have been some sort of metallic crossbow. A belt of dangerous looking bolts lies nearby. And then the parachute. A large red fabric sack of some sort is draped atop the wreckage. Thin wire cables dangle from it like tentacles. You can see where they would have attached to the machine, but rust has severed them. I want to make sure the rose is also on. The rose emblem adorns this also. Okay, so that's our description. You want to give them as much in the description and let them make their own conclusions about that. You don't tell them it's a parachute. You just describe what a parachute looks like without saying the word parachute. They piece that together with the with the eyewitness account. I saw this piece of fabric drop down. They put it together. They're investigators. You've made them feel great. That's your job. It's to make them solve the puzzle. Don't just hand it to them. You don't tell them it's a soldier. You tell them it's a big mechanical thing. It's got weapons. It's got armor, etc., etc. Okay, we also want to give them the lettering. You can make out the letters. Let's see, I wrote it down. Hang on. M-U-R-P-H-I. Murphy. These are the dropship Murphys, by the way. Murphy, which they will find out later on down the road, stands for Mechanized Unit for Rapid Plunge Heavy Infantry. So we get that in there, but it'll make sense later. We'll tie it together once they actually get up to the ship itself, the wheel in the sky. All right, so now they know what it is. We've got our creation. It is unfixable, so we need to put that in our notes. Down here. So let's tell the GM what's going on. This mechanical soldier was once known as a dropship Murphy, which stands for Mechanized Unit for Rapid Plunge Heavy Infantry. It is extremely old, and the parachute that was supposed to make descent from the wheel in the sky failed. Subsequently, it landed hard on top of the Speedy wagon. The soldier is beyond repair, but it is made from a forgotten alloy. Sorry about the pauses in video. I think Twitch is catching up a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, Twitch is having issues catching up with my awesome stream. It's too good. I can't handle it. So sorry if you're having some delay issues. Try and get those repaired in the future. Known as I need metal band names. Does anybody know any good metal band names? List of heavy metal bands. Need something with maybe metal in it, or iron, or something like that. I don't want to do Iron Maiden because I think we're going to use that otherwise, but just look through real fast for something metallic. Just use Metallica, but not a lot of metal band names. Yeah, I think we're going to use Iron Maiden on another thing. I've got some ideas for that, but I don't want to waste them all this early. But that might be what we go with. Yeah, maybe Maiden Iron. That might work. It's a little bit tongue in cheek. Yeah, let's call it that. Maiden Iron. Let's do that. Maiden Iron. And then we can come up with some cool stuff to do with Maiden Iron later on. But that's pretty good for now. Okay, so it's a dropship Murphy. They find it, they investigate it, they figure out it's being dropped from something. And then from there we've hooked them into the investigation. After they help fix the Speedy wagon, or perhaps during that they can investigate further, and we'll give them some clues about how to find the wheel in the sky and track it down and stop it from dropping any more unfortunate things on people. So let's take a look at our work up till now. So we have some readable text, we have some talking, we have some GM notes, we have how to fix the Speedy wagon with rules. Okay, we're good to go. I think that's pretty good for today, and I think that we will leave it right here with our crash sites right near the bridge. All right, hope you enjoyed the stream. Let me put the web address back up. If you want to examine our work in detail, it's livefreeordiebarred.obsidianportal.com. I will be back next week at Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we also have a show Tuesday nights, which will be returning 10 p.m. Eastern Time, if you want to catch that one. But I'll be back here next Thursday morning, or depending on where you are in the world, not morning, or maybe not even Thursday. But you can check out our stuff on OP. The videos themselves will be uploaded about a week after the Twitch broadcast onto our YouTube channel. And you can always follow along on our Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and other social media if you want to find out more stuff. Check out our blog, Words in the Dark, for updates. We've got lots of communication tools. We're doing lots of cool stuff on the site. There will be more announcements for things happening soon. So hopefully we will see you next week. Thanks for being here in the chat. Thanks for participating. Good luck to those of you who are running campaigns. Nomad, thanks for sharing your campaign stuff with us. Wish you the best of luck. And thanks everybody else for being here. We will see you next week on Live for Your Die Barred for more singing. And maybe I'll do a reprise of the Walker Elven Ranger song too. But all right, thanks. See you next time. Bye.